Newsman Deno will continue with that conversation on air. We're here trying to dissect the headlines and the important stories of the day on your newspaper. Welcome to Biashara Tuesday. If you're joining us again, tell us where you're tuning in from and what your thoughts are on the conversations that we are having here. It is the newspaper review time, and we are going to be having a look at it with Dennis, who is one of us here at KUTV from the newsroom. He's a very eloquent primetime news anchor, reporter, multifaceted journalist, radio and TV as well. First time we met was on KU Radio?
Yes. In fact, the first time I was going on air on radio, you were hosting...
Let's have your mic there. Yes.
Okay, and then also the first time I ever appeared on TV, it was on your show.
Biashara Tuesday.
On this set, actually.
Right, from radio to TV. We've come quite the way, and you can get this conversation as well. It's live on KU Radio.
It's live
at the moment,
on KU Radio.
KU 999 FM. Yep. You can get to follow through that conversation. Welcome back, Deno. How have you been so far? Before we get into the stories here.
Thank you so much. It has been such a long time, quite a long time, almost a year since I appeared on this set.
Right.
But I'm glad.
Was President William Ruto the president at the time?
At the time, I think he had just gotten the presidency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's 1 year later. That's also the other conversation we're going to have here. Scorecard yake ameperform aje, as the top job in the government. Yeah. But yeah, good to hear that you've been well, that you've been keeping well in the newsroom as well, bringing us all the best stories from all corners.
Always doing what we have to do as journalists and trying to look into those stories that make sense to our viewers.
Okay.
And trying to report them the best way only we can do.
Only we can do. A new experience at KUTV Kenya. The Standard, the Daily Nation, the Business Daily, Deno. Let me just maybe go through the headlines real quick, hear your reactions, and then we can get into the nitty-gritties of the details that are there in the stories today. Grab yourself a copy of each of these at 60 Kenyan shillings. The hard copy, the e-paper version of each goes for 20 shillings. So, enda utafute alafu, unaweza follow along and tell us what you think about the headlines. Let's begin with the Standard. Up there, jitters over pace of Ruto-Raila talks. Jitters over pace of Ruto-Raila talks with tight deadlines here on the Standard. With tight deadlines to come up with a report that will inform changes in the country's laws, the speed of the talks has leaders raising eyebrows on whether the agenda will be fully discussed and on time to effect the changes. And this is a story on page 6, but it's a top story here. The bipartisan talks between President William Ruto and Raila's camp, both sides, of course, trying to find a middle ground there in the stalemate that has been witnessed at a better part of July, August there. Yeah, June, July, August, where, the opposition was trying to get the government to hear to the various issues they've outlined there, from election malpractice to the cost of living. But there are jitters now over the pace of these talks. They've been postponed again to September 18th. We'll get to know why and whether that is good for us or not.
And I'm actually there on page 6 of
this. Okay, let's get into it. Why not?
The national dialogue gets off to a slow start. And I don't know why I have a feeling that Azimio are more invested in this than Kenya Kwanza.
Why that? Why would you say that?
You look at how Kenya Kwanza is behaving and their attitude towards these talks, and you realize something is off. Because this is almost the third or fourth time that Kimani Ichung'wah, who is supposed to be the co-chair, is missing. Okay. And instead is being represented by Embu Governor Cecil Mbarire. The other time when he missed, Cecil said that bad weather, he could not fly. And then we saw him on top of a vehicle with the president in Nyeri doing something that looked more like a campaign, those sides. And then you look at even the agenda to be discussed, you realize that most of it is what Azimio wanted to be discussed.
Right.
The government has not even told us this is what we want. So it is like Azimio is pushing. In fact, the only thing I can say is pro-government in that discussion is the push to have Mudavadi's office entrenched in the constitution. The rest
is not something they are concerned about.
Almost
I asked someone here some time back who's also coincidentally called Dennis Kimani.
Okay.
I wanted to know whether there is a long play happening here. Could it be, let's postpone these talks and then they act cordial and then Azimio feels warm and cozy, and then they postpone them again until 5 years lapse and nothing has been discussed? Do you think that could actually be a long political play?
It could actually be the case, because even when you read the article on the Standard, or inside the Standard newspaper, page 6, you realize there are even MPs from Kenya Kwanza saying we are just buying time. We are trying to manage Raila Odinga. We are trying to get him off the streets. Let's hoodwink him that we are giving him something while there's
nothing happening.
Yeah, actually, find some bone for him.
They've actually quoted, as you said, the Gatanga MP and who's the UDA Secretary for Legal Affairs, Edward Muriu. Is it Edward Muriu? That is the Gatanga Member of Parliament, saying here, nothing will come out of the talks. We are just managing Mzee, and hence the low pace. They first need to have internal dialogue. How can they expel their members? They want to have dialogue with us. So that could be actually true.
Yes,
that there's a long play here.
And also, when you look at the issues to be discussed, there is one which is very explosive. The one about auditing 2022 presidential election results. I mean, Ruto cannot sit down and finance all these talks when he knows very well that at the end of the day, you're going to open the servers.
And look at his backyard.
Yes.
Okay.
And whatever you find in the servers, what if you find that he did not win? What? I don't say.
There's no way he can allow you to take a look at his dirty linen,
yes,
if there is any at this point, right?
Even the deputy president has said, to hell with that, we are not discussing it, we are not looking at it. If that is the case,
then let's not have these talks.
Let's not have these talks.
Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, we just played a story here from our own newsroom where he used some very strong terms that I cannot say back, but he said, wakileta kitu fulani, si mnajua tuko ready. What do you think that points towards? Is he ready for a collapse of these talks? And then let's go back to the streets.
I don't know if Raila Odinga is ready for a collapse of these talks. Because from what I'm seeing, it looks like the opposition have exploited or used everything in their arsenal. They don't have anything remaining. Because I feel like we cannot be heading to the streets at the slightest provocation. So, and the fact that we keep going to this and every other time there is an issue, the only solution we have is demonstrations. I think that there is no concrete plan. There is no concrete plan for Raila to deal with Ruto in case this fail. But if there is any, I'm waiting to see what his think tank.
Have they been caught slacking twice? If the Azimio side was caught slacking during the general elections in 2022, are they going to also be caught here? Let's say President William Ruto has his own play already. Let's play it slow and then buy time with Mzee, and then again Mzee apatikane, kumbe mimi sikuwa nimejipanga. Anaweza kuwa hajajipanga twice.
It is possible. It happened before. Nothing prevents it from happening again. Because even on the Nation newspaper, look at the headline. It says how Raila was caught flat-footed. And, 1 year after, 1 year since that election, they are just trying to look at what happened, what could have gone wrong. And they're looking at the errors that there's a Mio campaign team, the secretariat and all that, what the people did. And they're saying, that election came from the campaigns, what we were seeing at the ground, the campaigns, people saying, okay, this is what we have, this is what we are selling to you, kindly buy our idea. And it went from that and it moved to courtrooms, people going to court, are we using manual register, are we using the digital register and all that. But they're saying Raila's secretariat seemed to be unaware of how to deal with these things.
Including chasing party agents 3 days to polling day.
Even at 2 a.m.
Just on the day of.
On the polling day.
Right.
So that happened. And I think that if that could happen then, when Raila had massive support, I mean, Raila had the state behind him. I don't know if that cannot happen
at this point.
At this point.
Even for just the 1 year that President William Ruto has been in power, he's been able to lure some of the members of parliament from his side. And we've seen here, even as that has been mentioned by that member of parliament from Gatanga, that within the party itself, in ODM, they've just expelled a few members of parliament due to the situation of being cordial with President William Ruto. It's funny because Raila Odinga himself seems to be very cordial with President William Ruto, greeting DP Gachagua at the African Climate Summit, which happened last week. Is he preaching water, drinking wine on the side?
Yes, I think at some point there is, the trappings of power sweet, being close to power and all that. And Raila's been looking for power all this time. I mean, as much as you would want to say, okay, he's also trying to change the lives of Kenyans, the lives of his supporters and all that. But then being close to power or having the power, wielding it yourself, is something. And I'm yet to come across somebody who can say I don't want to be close to power. And so the only issue I have with the members of parliament who are going to President Ruto's side is who then oversights the president. Yes, because when a governor chooses to work with the president, I understand to some extent, because they have development projects to do, and the government, the counties have to work with the national government to achieve some things. But an MP, honestly, an MP, I think, stay there, oversight the government. How are you going to oversight President Ruto when you are spending all your time with him and all that? So with MPs going, I have an issue. With the governors,
so there's no problem with having the Azimio side try to hold this kind of bipartisan talks, as long as all of us are playing within our camps. That's what you say.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is Raila getting flat-footed, and therefore, if we take a look at the Standard? Yeah, we mentioned earlier. I think let's do away with politics as fast as we can, and then move on to the other stories. WorldCoin. Before we get into WorldCoin, the CS responsible for this kind of conversation on page 5 of the Standard, who's CS Owalo, has been touring the Nyanza region a lot. Yeah,
yes.
And you had told me earlier on. Of course, there have been fingers pointing towards him. Being the Nyanza CS, yeah, the Luo CS. Is he the one who's trying to get himself up to a position of kuridhi mzee Raila?
It will be very difficult. It will be very difficult because, I don't know if Raila was smart or not, but we are at a point where he's exiting the leadership of Nyanza region, because I don't want to imagine that Raila will be in the ballot in 2027. I just don't want to imagine it. But we are at a point where there is no direct successor to Raila Odinga. I don't know if this is by design. He just wanted us to have some sort of confusion by the time he's exiting. But CS Owalo, it's going to be an uphill task. It is going to be an uphill task. He can manage to get the leaders to his side, but then getting the people to his side, because even the name recognition, I believe he doesn't have the name recognition.
Does not yield that political power just with his name. Yeah.
Yes, he's not a household name. There are many politicians from Nyanza who you just mention their name, and even little children will look your direction. But Owalo, I think he's got some miles to cover.
Okay, let's pick scorecard even as we wait for. Before we move away from that, bipartisan talks, Kenyans have been invited to give out their memoranda on what they think should be the discussions between the Kenya Kwanza government and Azimio la Umoja, which is the opposition, representing the people, and by the the self-proclaimed people's president, Raila Odinga. Do you think whatever Kenyans are going to send in memoranda or suggestions are going to be put on this table for discussion, or is this just another democratic exercise to fulfill their constitution?
The talks team has got days. I think right now they have got about 40 days.
Yeah.
They've received 142 memoranda from Kenyans. They have to go through all these memoranda, look at what is possible, what is not possible, and then write a report, which they are going to give. Kalonzo is saying they're going to give the report next week. I don't know how possible this is in under 7 days to give us a concrete report. And to be honest, I think that perhaps even the end game of these talks is already predetermined. That is in my own view, because you see how things are happening and how they are going, and you are convinced that no, this is not 142. And I've seen some explosive suggestions. Some people saying let's have 10 more counties. Some 11. Some people are saying let's make them 10 from 47 and all that. I don't think that these are things that the technical team is just going to look at within 7 days and then give a report. We see even the public participation that goes with Parliament. Parliament says, okay, so and so has been nominated. We are inviting the public to talk. As long as this thing is not put out there for us to see, okay, these are the memorandums. So and so wrote to us saying this and this.
I mean, more than 70% of Kenyans rejected the finance bill, but look at where we are. We are with the Finance Act.
It's operating.
Yeah, we're not discouraging anyone from submitting their memoranda, but take the facts and do with them what you'd like. Yeah? So that is what we have there, bipartisan talks and Raila getting caught flat-footed. You can read what happened on the evening of August 8th, just hours before the polling stations opened for what would be one of the most fiercely fought presidential elections. A court sitting in Nairobi overturned an earlier decision to compel the electoral agencies to use manual registers to identify voters, and that very late move by a section of Azimio bigwigs to change party agents even as late as 2 a.m. on the election day may have just worked against Raila Odinga. Will it work against him in this bipartisan talks? You can read more and let us know what your thoughts are. Newsman, they know what is the next story here that you feel will be very important for us.
Okay.
CS Owalo, I think we did highlight that a bit.
Yes.
But drug abuse.
Drug abuse also is there. I also wanted to look at something on the Nation, page, not Nation, Standard, page 4, and it is something to do with the preparedness for the rains.
Okay.
I'm seeing Governor Sakaja is already unveiling his plan on how he's going to deal with the El Nino rains, which we are expecting to start. It was some sources place it at October, some place it at September, but at least Nairobi County is doing something. Actually, what he's talking about in page 4 has got something to do with the new taxes.
Right, as well.
Yeah, and we can see just the figures there. Cost of preaching at Jivanji and Kamukunji per day will be 500 shillings.
The cost of preaching at City Park per day, 1,000 shillings. Yeah?
Yeah.
Cutting trees, 8,000 Kenyan shillings in the county. And some others here. So I wonder, why is Jivanji 500 shillings to preach and 1,000 at City Park?
Perhaps he has monitored and seen that maybe there are more people, the people who could give the offering, there are more of them at City Park compared to Jivanji. I don't know the criteria he used, but at least we know preachers at City Park will be paying 1,000 shillings and 500 at those who will be in Kamukunji and Jivanji.
Speaking of entertainment, for a governor who is very excited about art, he's also changed here. I see the taxes on live performance at Uhuru Park from 5,000 to 100,000 Kenyan shillings, up from 5,000 per day. That's a very huge leap. Yeah. So creatives out there who'd like to do live performances at Uhuru Park, that has moved from 5,000 to 100,000. I don't know what that will mean for creativity in the county. But there's also more on trade licenses as well there. Cabs who are parking in town, 3,000 per month there. You can read the figures for yourself. But you mentioned their preparedness for El Nino as well. The governor has been doing some good work.
The governor said he's planning. He launched a team. He's even saying we might be forced to relocate people from buildings that they deem and dangerous during the El Nino rains. I think that's a good move he's taken personally, and I'd like to see how prepared the national government is and even other counties, because El Nino
I only know of Mombasa and Nairobi who have prepared so far out of the 47. So 45 more counties might not even have any plan ready.
And I really wanted to hear from Mombasa, because Mombasa has got this problem of drainage. Their drainage systems are not really that good, at least based on what we have seen as per news reports before and what has gotten to our newsrooms before.
And MP Peter Salasia, who a conversation has already been had here on KUTV, also said that the coastal region is being affected a lot. So I think Mombasa is well prepared, and Nairobi is doing so, including drainage, which the governor says will be fixing. I hope that they also fix the Mombasa Road, which is just below the expressway. I think drainage there has been quite a huge problem for users. CS Owalo, WorldCoin.
WorldCoin is just thrown the data commission under the bus. That's what the standard is saying. They say CS absolves himself from any blame in the operations of WorldCoin in the country, and says his ministry and state agencies became aware of the matter at the end of July 2023 after it became a matter of grave public concern. And if you want to know that there was a real confusion here, is when he gave a statement that was very different from what CS Kindiki had issued
Earlier.
earlier. And then Communications Authority came with another statement. And then there is this time they appeared before Parliament, not in person, but at least through a letter which they signed together now, at least to show us that we are united, we are on the same page when it comes to this. And from what is happening here, him saying that the data commissioner knew something and he did not know, then it reminds me of the president saying when they were signing the performance contracts at State House.
Yeah, that there are some CSs who are not even aware of what kind of job description their position entails.
They had the dockets, but
for a man who is posing himself as a Luo Nyanza kingpin, is he ready for the job?
No, this is bad.
We were also caught lacking just a few weeks ago with the attacks on our eCitizen platform. Several financial platforms also were offline for more than 48 hours, M-Pesa, and we also did see that, passport issuance delays, even visa issuance delays. Yes. And CS Owalo, who is the CS responsible for ICT, was also caught unawares. This is not the first time. Second time, WorldCoin was offered a license of operation years ago, which I believe is 2021. Now we're in 2023. That's when we are having a knee-jerk reaction.
And that goes to us again as we look at the 1 year of President Ruto's presidency.
Right.
We also try to see, in terms of choosing his cabinet, how was it? Did he score an A? Did he score a B, a C, going down? Because you look at some of these, they campaigned together. They were in the trenches. They suffered under Uhuru. They say we suffered to Liteswa.
The previous regime.
So was it about him giving the people who were Liteswa pamoja the positions, or was it about competency, which I would prefer took precedence in this case? But then you look at these people. There are some people who are heading dockets. We've never had them do anything related to what they are doing now.
Right.
Talk of, I don't want to drop names.
Okay. I want to. I probably will drop a few names here. But go on.
But when you look at some of these people, you're like, really, okay, he's not matching the docket. But then there we are, the fact that they have moved and we are now 1 year into it, I think 1 year is too long. They should have learned how to run these ministries. We don't expect these errors, like one giving orders by the roadside, I'm transferring a police officer and you are heading the health docket.
Right. Or also you're heading the health docket and you're launching Wi-Fi hotspots,
And then they say, we are using the one government approach. Yes.
What's a one government approach? What do they mean by a one government approach?
When you see me, you see the president. I'm representing the president.
Yeah,
I can do anything the president can do.
Right. Let's talk about that scorecard then. In terms of leadership, is there anyone who's ticked, who's maybe even half a tick that in that checkbox? Maybe someone will argue CS Kindiki, combating the Rift Valley menace of bandits, straightening out things at Nyayo House, maybe holding off the opposition during the protests. Would you give him as someone that he chose? He did well.
I think from my view is most of these people, I cannot give them like a clear score because some of them are still doing things that were in Uhuru government, trying to streamline things. I think I want to give them a little bit more time to see the policies of President.
Even the ones who are failing?
Yeah, because when you look at even his first budget, he's just starting to operate right now. So I want to see how each one is handling the budget, the allocations that have been given to their ministries and all that. But still, when you look at, for example, Kindiki, I know I've seen Kindiki being ranked at the top most of the time. I also want to be very careful to not confuse that with who has the most media appearances.
Okay.
Because when you look at Kindiki, he has appeared so many times on the media. In fact, in our newsroom, he's the only person whose communications team send us what everywhere they've gone, even if you don't send a reporter, you are sure Kindiki's team
will send you information.
Send you information of what they did. So even us as the media, we might be,
aiding and abetting towards this PR stance,
making him appear more on the media. But
I see.
And then you get some people like Soipan Tuya, who has not appeared so much on the media, but then one event, Africa Climate Summit, and people are like, she's done the job.
She's done a good job.
She's good at the job. So it goes beyond what we read on the media, what we see on the papers, what we see on TV and radio.
Okay.
And now looking at the real effects on the ground there.
Let's do two very quick. I think it's also important to note that there's been an increase in terror attacks over the coastal region.
Yes.
Some soldiers and some military personnel stepped on IEDs even as late as yesterday and 2 days ago as well, losing lives there. I think CS Kindiki, it's a call out for him also to move away from the media and attend to even issues that are happening there with the military personnel and others like CS Owalo, who keep launching Wi-Fi hotspots, but we're having attacks on eCitizen. It's important to balance that PR and also balance out work.
And I think when you highlight now these problems individually, like the terror attacks, the Shakahola incident, and all that, you realize that actually CS Kindiki might actually be working. In fact, he's working because he found so much on the table. He's trying to clear so much, and you can see, even if we are yet to see. Even if you are yet to feel, for example, for that person who is feeling, no, he's not yet done a lot or done anything, but at least you can see he's handling this, he's dealing with this, he's dealing with this and that, and all that. So I think he has got, but I really hope and pray that he manages to end this problem. He's saying they have won the war on banditry in North Rift. I was saddened one time when he went to the Rift, and he was addressing a group. And then in the midst of his address, those people just exploded something right before him.
Okay.
And I think they were just sending a message to him, yes, you are here, we are also here.
We're also here, right.
But
okay.
he has tried, we've seen the police move. There is currently, I think, KDF and the police together are continuing with an operation that side.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that even the one in Lamu, they are going to be able to deal with that. It has taken, we've lost police officers, so many of them, and it has gotten to a point where even people don't want to be deployed to those places.
Right, that's
and
true.
Not just officers, even teachers.
Even teachers, we saw them protesting. They don't want to be posted in Garissa or in some regions which are considered very dangerous or very prone to some of these terror activities. All right, I wonder what backbenchers like Moses Kuria feel when we're discussing the scorecards of other CSS. But let's also see your work and then we can get to discuss it here. 1 year since President William Ruto got the top job, being the 5th of this republic. In terms of economy, the cost of living, this being a biashara show, you have to say, what do you feel? What do you feel?
Of course, what I feel is the feeling of the nation. What I feel is what people are saying down there. When you see the majority of people saying...
I will say down here. We are we are the people saying it, down here.
Okay, down here. When you hear very many people saying... we just cannot sustain this. It is difficult. We are going angry. We are sleeping on empty stomachs. I mean, that is it.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, you don't need any other indicators to know that it is bad. It is bad. We are being told that it is a global phenomenon. We hope that it is the case, but at the same day, not at the same day, but at the same time, can we have our own solutions? For example, we know every government comes into place with dreams and plans. That's the essence of a manifesto, so to speak. But then when you come into office and you find that these people are going hungry every other time, is it the right time to introduce the taxes? Or the taxes can wait? And all that. I'm really waiting for the bumper harvest to see if it is going to, because they are telling us that the subsidized fertilizers is going to lead to a bumper harvest,
Okay.
of which I believe by now we should be harvesting. So we are waiting to see the National Cereals Produce Board.
To give us the stats.
How many sacks have you collected? How many? What is the deficit? Because I know there is going to be a deficit still. I don't think there is a time we've produced enough for us. So we just want to see. And then some people are saying, even if you subsidize maize, not all of us take ugali.
Yeah.
So
subsidize other products as well.
Yes.
Or other food produces.
Exactly.
The price of gas has gone down, significantly
Yes.
since President William Ruto took power. So maybe if food prices also come a bit lower, and he says that even with the Finance Act, there is a vision, a long-term vision on how this is going to help us get ourselves in economic prosperity. Well, for the 1 year that we've been around,
Yes.
I don't think we can see any positive impact, but hopefully then we get to see it in the second year.
And talking about gas, I'm even told that people are modifying their cars so that they don't use petrol.
Oh,
They instead use gas.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yes.
Because
they're
gas
saying
is now cheaper than fuel.
it's cheaper than fuel. And the same thing I was telling you about the standard, they have a special report on the financial standard where they are talking about questions on electric vehicles industry as state pushes for uptake.
Yeah, this is coming from that Africa Climate Summit
Yes,
as well. Okay.
the president drove himself to the summit every time in this Kayelo vehicle, electric
Taxi.
vehicle, which we were told he was using.
Hey, you
Was
call it Kayelo.
It is small anyway.
Yeah.
Is it? We were told he was using 2 shillings or 10. 2 to 10 shillings to get from State House to KICC. And he's actually urging Kenyans to get these vehicles. But people are asking, we just had a national blackout the other day. Is
Kenya Power ready to...
Is KPLC ready to power our vehicles? I've also seen some people arguing, they take too long to charge and all that. But the government has really put its foot down to make sure that this succeeds. We are told there are 1,350 electric vehicles in the country. That was as of February 2023. And this, mind you, is taking into account that Kenya has 234,879 vehicles, including motorcycles and tuk-tuks that are registered in the country.
Okay.
So 234,000
Against
versus
1,350.
Yes.
We can do better.
We still have
A long
quite
way to go.
a long way to go, yeah.
Yeah, it's also expensive. It's not that cheap though to get an electric car. I think even the initial purchase cost of this AIA2, which the president was riding in, is 1.7 million.
Yes.
This Kayelo thing, 1.7 million Kenyan shillings for just this one. I think it's also a bit expensive, but it is the electric future that we're speaking about that will hopefully steer us towards a sustainable future.
So when you find business-minded Kenyans, they will be like, we are ready to wait. We'll wait for the prices to come down.
Na labda tushike kitu
Yes.
kwa bei ya rahisi.
Exactly.
Ka Probox hivi ka electric from Meru all the way to Nairobi.
Yep.
I wonder how that will be. There have been set up electric charging spots around the country, even including Westlands. I saw one at Ojijo Road, steamer Boda charging spot. So those electric bikes, people can try and go and test them out and see if it's real. Yeah. So also an electric ride. If you want to enjoy an electric ride from Juja to town, from Kikuyu to town, and Limuru, Basigo is operating those electric buses, 100% electric. You can take a look at that electric future. Do you know?
Yes.
Na feel tumeongea sana.
Okay.
So I want us to switch it up a bit and then come back for our final remarks. Let's do a small brain teaser here, which is, I think you're aware of it by now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we did it last time. You lost, no? Welcome back. Let me tell you something that maybe can boost your spirits.
Okay.
I've lost this game for the past 2 Biashara Tuesdays that we've done here consecutively, and I performed abysmally in one of them. Hata score yangu ingesemwa.
Okay.
So
And
you have a chance to beat me.
And you honestly hoped that would lift my spirits.
I'm making a comeback today. Don't be too excited.
Okay, why use me to make a comeback?
They say attack the weakest. Let's see.
Okay,
if you're-
fine.
Yeah?
Fine. I'm ready.
Let's see. If you're at home, you can also follow along, answer the questions, and tell us what you got. Here goes question number 1. It's general knowledge. So let's see how you perform.
Okay.
Question number 1. DIY. What does that stand for? DIY.
I need to write.
Yes, you need to write it. Let's
You're supposed to hide.
All right, question number 2. What is the capital of Colombia? Pablo? Oh, man.
Capital of Colombia.
All right. Question number 3. Who was the first African woman to win the Nobel Prize?
Is there anybody losing that?
Not me. Not me. Okay. Question number 4. What is the currency used in Congo? Aye. Where? Oi. All right. Question number 5. Who is the first black man to win an Oscar? Should have asked to be slapped. I'd have gotten that. Oh, man. Question number 6. How many countries are in Africa? African Union. Wanaziongeza si ndio? Damn. Okay. Question number 7. Who is the current CEO of Safaricom PLC? Okay.
Actually, who set the exam?
This was set by my current producer, Victoria. She said this one, so ukifelu mtafute. Who is the governor wa Singishu County? Huko kwa scholarships.
Singishu County.
Oh, man.
I think I should not fail this one.
You shouldn't. You're in the news. And the last question here is,
can we use nicknames?
What is the first line of the second stanza of the Kenyan national anthem? That's question number 9. What is the first? I missed that. What is this? What is the question? I'm sorry I missed it. Could we have it again? Oh, man. Okay. Let's have it again. Sorry. What is the first line of the second stanza of the Kenyan national anthem? First line of the second stanza. Oh, amenipata leo. Question number 10. Who was the first Prime Minister of Kenya? Wait. Ay. Najua nini? Check. Whatever happens within these walls of Biashara Tuesday stays here. Leo, it's been quite a brain teaser. Waliona nimezoea kupata 8 out of 10. Wameanza kuni challenge.
I've never been embarrassed on a national television. Let me see.
And there's a first time for everything.
Let me see.
And we start with DIY. So it is do it yourself, but he wrote do it for yourself. Okay, wamesema nikupatie hiyo.
Oh, thank you so much.
DIY, do it yourself. What is the capital of Colombia? Okay, what is the capital of Colombia? Alisema dash. Sema dash, apanta mbua.
I have no idea.
Bogota. Bona sera. Ay, Bogota. Okay.
But you wrote XXX.
Really? Relax.
Okay. So tunaenda tuko pamoja.
Question number 3. Who was the first African woman to win the Nobel Prize? Wangari Maathai, no?
Okay.
Yes. Okay, that's a nice one. Coming from the African Climate Summit, I think she should be proud of the steps that are being made so far. I hope she is. What is the currency being used in Congo? That is question number 4. We said franc. It's Congolese franc. Jeno nyamaze, usiseme majibu yangu. Just keep my answers to yourself.
Lips zimeshikana, siongei, sisemi kitu.
I have a job to protect. Here. Who is the first black man to win an Oscar? Sidney Poitier. And Deno wrote the first black man to slap another black man. So he wrote Will Smith.
I was actually copying. You made a statement.
Yeah.
You made a statement
about the slap.
Yeah, about some slap.
Yeah, it's not Will Smith.
Okay. It's fine.
Unfortunately for us. Question next. How many countries are in Africa? 55? 54? 55.
Are you
It is
sure
55.
Are you
With South Sudan included, yeah?
Yes, man. It
Yeah,
should be 55.
So we got it.
We are already struggling. You can't keep taking marks away.
Keep failing us.
Man, you can't keep failing us.
The CEO of Safaricom PLC was the next question. That's Peter Ndegwa.
Peter Ndegwa.
Hiyo tumepatiwa wenyewe. Thank you so much, my producer. Question next there. Who is the governor of Uasin Gishu County? County of Finland scholarships. Anaitwa Governor B. Koti moja. Hiyo ndo nickname yake. Mbona anaitwa Koti moja?
I think time ya campaign alikuwa na pia na
Koti moja
the same outfit.
Alright, that's
campaign.
Governor B there. Governor was in Gishu County. Question number 9. What is the first line of the second stanza of the Kenyan national anthem? Let's build our land and nation. That's the second line of the first stanza, right?
I'm not sure at
yes,
this point.
and I wrote here, let's
all.
Gibberish. Let's say,
all.
let one and all arise. Nilianza na let you.
Wacha nikupatie
Let
hiyo.
one and all.
Let me. You had an idea.
Wamenipata.
You had an idea.
Last question there. Who was the first Prime Minister of Kenya? Has to be the first president of the Republic, right? Jomo Kenyatta.
So that is
The father of the fourth and also the first president. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Didn't know. Nice.
I tried.
You did well. You did well
Okay,
actually.
so you'll have to try embarrass your next guest
Oh
next Tuesday.
man, I got a 6
Not me.
again.
Not me.
I failed there. It's okay, man. Thank you very much for participating in that one with me. Before we finish it up, I think time is not on our side. It's 9:51 in the morning.
Yep.
We'd like to wrap it up just real quick, I want us to get a comment from you on drug abuse, which has been a new statistic from NACADA. Wanasema for the past 5 years, drug intake has gone up.
Yeah.
The ones who are looking for the hardcore alcohol pia wamekuwa wakiincrease. Actually, percentage the Kenyans who are drinking changa has gone up by a percentage, which is there on page 2 of the standard. Bang, which is cannabis sativa or cannabis indica, whichever strain watu wanatumia, wanasema 90% more Kenyans in the past 5 years. Kutoka 2017 hadi saizi 90% more are using cannabis. And we need to have a sober discussion because we have a limited number of sober people in the Republic as of the moment. This issue of drug abuse, are we losing a generation?
And I think when you look at the second family, both the deputy president and his wife, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, they have been vocal about drug. The deputy president is concentrating more on the central region of the country. And then the wife, Pastor Dorcas, is moving across the country with a rehabilitation program for the boy child. At first, somebody might look at it and say, okay, another PR stand, wanajaribu kufanya kitu hapa na pale. But when you look at it, I think they are doing this from a point of information.
Yes.
They know that this is going on and it is something that needs to be dealt with. We've seen reports even the other day in Mombasa, they were calling it the zombie drug or what, which is
fentanyl. I think.
Yes. And when you look at this, you see that something really needs to be done. Right. The only worry that I have is that they keep increasing every year. Because right now we are being told that as early as grade 1, a child has already been inducted
into drugs.
So you get worried as time goes by.
Right.
And even the use of changa, I'm told they're saying Nyanza, Western and Rift Valley, they still love the changa. They don't even want the distilled one.
Distilled,
Yes. So you look at this, somebody was telling me the other day that even this sin tax that is levied on alcohol is even encouraging the use of changa because
now people are moving to cheaper alcohol.
Yes, because it is cheaper, and I really need to take something. I really need to get high, and this is the cheaper one. So people go to use that, but this is not
needs to be done.
Something needs to be done. This is not a good picture. The fact that it keeps on increasing every year, despite the measures that have been taken or put in place, it tells us that probably we are not doing enough, or we just need to do more.
They're saying 1 in every 6 Kenyans aged between 15 to 65 are currently using at least one drug or substance. So mahali umekaa saizi, count 6 people. One of them, very serious drug user right there. So that is a scary statistic that we need to be concerned about for the future generation. They're also saying one thing, ambayo ningetaka useme as your closing remarks as well,
Yes.
that the Media Council of Kenya, actually the CEO of the Media Council of Kenya has also said that media personnel are also losing jobs, young journalists who
Yes.
are getting drug addicted and can't even deliver. Ambia watu wenzako bana, journalist.
And that cuts across every field, even if not only in media. It is very clear that when you take this thing and you don't know how to control, I think controlled consumption.
Control is the biggest,
control your consumption. When it gets to a point where it is affecting how you are working, how you are doing your job, I think that is now addiction. And you're being told that when you get to addiction now, you are probably moving towards depression now. And that is just one of the health effects of this. So even if you do it, are you controlling?
Right.
Yes.
Think about control as well.
Think
You know,
about
let's get your last word. If you don't have a last word, we have provided a last word there at the Business Daily.
No, I
You
don't
can
think I
go
have a
for-
last word. Always good.
Okay.
And just wishing that the viewer is going to have a good day ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
What's your prime time again? Which
Prime
days?
time today.
Oh, today.
I'll
Right.
be again here on this set at 9 p.m.
Okay.
Yes.
People should tune in and know the developments of the day.
And you don't want to miss our interviews, by the way.
Okay.
We have really high voltage interviews at 9 p.m.
High voltage, electric.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Think about it. Last word there, Deno.
So, last word on the Business Daily. A quote by William James, who is an American philosopher, a historian, and a psychologist. He says, "Success or failure depends more upon attitude than upon capacity. Successful men act as though they have accomplished or are enjoying something, and soon it becomes a reality."
I'm enjoying $1 million. So you can tell I am.
Soon we see
Soon.
Richard with $1 million.
Yes, I'll be in that reality. But on Biashara Tuesday, we try to empower you every single morning of Tuesday with conversations on business, politics, and anything else that will help you grab opportunities around you, set a successful tone for your week. And I'm very grateful, of course, Deno, for joining us here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I hope I get you another time.
Definitely.
All right, and for you, for tuning into this show, this has been Biashara Tuesday, comes to you every single Tuesday. Remember, on Monday, you get Art and Culture Monday with Karen Blessing, and then I come here and wrap it up on matters of business on Biashara Tuesday. Engage me on all social platforms, from X to Instagram. I think those are the ones I'm on, so you can tag me at Richard_Okenye, and I'll be responding to you as we go on through the week. This has been my time from my whole team, my producer and director, Ryan Ngure, the whole team that is behind there, including the transmission desk, which is headed there by Frank Major Minor. It has been lovely to have you on this show. If you didn't learn anything today, especially, you can blame it on my terrible jokes. I'll see you around.